Dear Captain, Protoss
is
German mode activated.
is just imbalanced. They really don't care how often their workers or army gets destroyed. They just replaced it within seconds. Thanks to their warp gate and their insane chrono boost. I tried Proxy Marauder, which was somewhat successful. Killed a bunch of workers and units, even probes are OP. When they're far behind, they just choose what they want to build. Disruptor, High Templar, Warp Prism drops, or Colossus to get back into the game. I tried then to go into battle cruisers, but it was too late. Sure, I did some major mistakes too, not building ghosts, better macro, but not everyone is perfect, right? So, is Protoss just IMBA, or do I suck? And this was sent in by the partially German Starscream, who is from, well, Europe obviously, in the Master League with 4091 MMR. The question is very simple. Is Protoss IMBA, or does he suck? Let's find out. Now, before we truly get into this replay, I want to do a public service announcement. As you can see, I have a bit of a bump on my head. Now, I want everyone to know that this has nothing to do with me bumping into my kitchen cabinet this morning, but instead, this is a common occurrence with Protoss players, and this is what happens when your brain grows. So, a lot of Terran players are listening, your brain can grow. Yes, it is possible. Even at later age, for example, I'm 29, my brain still grows. And what it does, it just expands your skull outwards a little bit. And then after a while, there's new skin comes on top of it and it will look normal, but I'll be even smarter than I already am. So just keep that in mind. And no slander, please, about my kitchen cabinet. He did nothing wrong, all right? Someone might have left him open. That might have been me. But the kitchen cabinet cannot be blamed for this. Ooh, we have a sexy little build over here. What is this? M-Core Starscream. Ooh. Oi, oi, oi. You write like a German, but you play like a Frenchie. This is a build that Marine Lord, the now retired French Terran, used to play a lot. Well retired, he's playing Age of Empires 4 now, which is kind of like the retirement home of StarCraft 2 players at this point. I feel like all the best AoE 4 players are ex-StarCraft 2. I'm not sure what it says about the other RTSs, but Command and Conquer players, step up your game because you're being made a fool of by these SC2 pros. This is a real nice build order. It's a full wall in which you should usually only build Marines. He goes for a Reaper, kind of faking a 2-gas opener, and then he's going to follow this up with a Marauder, 2 Marauder save up, maybe send another Marine across the map as well. Marine Lord used to always do this with just sending 1 or 2 Marines across the map. I think it hits a little bit faster with that, or at least you have more units. You build a bunker and you try to kill this base. That is the entire plan of the build. Now, I feel like it doesn't work so well anymore because very often the response against a 2-gas opener out of Terran, or the response that is supposed to happen, is that Protoss is supposed to build a battery on the low ground. That is 100%. If you see a full wall, that's what you're supposed to do. So this build kind of fell out of fashion, with 2-gas builds becoming more popular overall, making it so that a full wall is just like an instant battery, and it should always be an instant battery. My good friend Bug, however, doesn't have a bump like this on his head. His brain isn't the enormous size that mine is, and as a result, he doesn't build the battery on the low ground. That is a mistake, because his opponent is now coming across the map with, it's actually a pretty tiny army for 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but it's still too big. Still too big for what Bug has. Bug has literally nothing. Starscream is gonna go into the main base. Is there concussive? And there is concussive. We have 3 Marauders out as well. And this Stalker should fall, so I'm gonna target it down. Just wants to run away for now. Okay, I don't entirely dig it. The control just hasn't been so smooth. Should move towards the bunker as well, running away from it. Now should target the Stalkers. We have some real split fire going on here. Look at that. Dealing some damage to both of these Stalkers and to a lot of the probes. No serious target fire. I don't think he's actually going to get to the bunker. Well, the bunker isn't finished. Even if he gets to the bunker, there's no point. We'll manage to kill 1 more Stalker. This bad boy might just be capable of escaping. This was a surprisingly good hold by Bug, or perhaps a surprisingly poorly executed attack here out of Starscream. Like, this really was the best case scenario. Bug didn't open up with a Stargate, and Bug decided to only build a single unit in the first 3 minutes of the game, and didn't have a battery. If you can't kill your opponent in the absolute, like, if you're making like 3 scenarios, you know, let's say your build is your worst case, your middle case, and your best case, okay? This scenario wouldn't even be in there because you can't imagine a Protoss having such a poor opener where he only has a single unit, no Stargate, and no battery. Like, it makes no sense not to get a second unit if you see a full wall as a Protoss, and it makes no sense not to get a battery. So even in the best case scenario, like, you're gonna have one of the two, in my mind. Either there's gonna be a battery or there's going to be 2 units. So the fact that Starscream didn't win just straight up or dealt near fatal damage is a pretty bad sign. It's poor micro, poor understanding of how to execute a build, really. With some weird split fire. I'm really not a fan of that. We're going to get a high ground CC. I think I appreciate that, actually. I think I like that. It's like just some safety because your bunker wasn't done in time for it otherwise. I think this is smart. I really do like that. I think it's a good call. We also have 4 Marauders now moving towards their target. This is an absolutely wild move, by the way. He's aware that there's a battery. Like, these Stalkers moving out, I don't think you can really predict that. This is working out beautifully. Look at this. We're going to get a base trade. And in a base trade, I think I actually kind of favor Starscream here. Like, this is going to go much, much better for Starscream than it will go for Bug. Because there's no natural, so there's no SCVs to kill. So we see loads and loads of probes going down over here. Well, if you stim another time and focus on the probes, you might have been capable of taking more down. Okay, there we go. It's gonna get every single probe. No, okay, it's gonna leave 2 alive. Very sloppy control here once again. I don't think there was much focus elsewhere, so I'm not so sure why that is. It's not like this CC was flying over. It's not like a mule got used during all of it. What is this scam? What in the ever-living crap was that? I've never... It's not like he tried to mule and missed, because you also don't want to mule here. Maybe he saw the shadow. Is this what happened? He saw the shadow of the sea monster. So, for the people who don't know, this map is under the sea. Under the sea. Darling, it's better. I think he sees the monster. He's like, oh, what's that? No shot. I think this is the first time I've seen someone make such an insane reaction to the sea monster. I mean, I get a pretty nasty reaction as well, but I just start insulting it. I don't think I've ever used in-game resources to annoy it, which it also doesn't work because, well, it's an AI sea monster. Well, it's the shadow of a sea monster. Even if you zoom out far enough, I don't think you'll ever see truly the sea monster. Here we have what's this? 7 Stalkers. Shoot 2 volley that. Yeah, will 2 volley that. Good raise on the depots. Big plays here coming out. This is a wild game already. I love that this thing also... it got the combat shield as well. It's like it's got every single upgrade out of the one tech left. That should not be viable, but it is what happened. You know, I can't change the truth, guys. There's not that many SCVs left, and there's a lot of SCVs being pulled from the line, which is surprising to say the least. A mistake as well, because it means you're now not mining any money. Sending the medevac forward like that is also a mistake, because medevacs don't actually fight. You want to try and keep them alive majority of the time. Both players had a low worker count. The army slightly bigger here for Bug than it is for Starscream. Starscream also has decided that add-ons are for idiots. Right now, out of the 5 structures in the main base, only 2 of them are occupied by add-ons. And it means that Marauder production will suck, but also Marine production is slow because there's not that many reactors. To be fair, he also doesn't have a whole lot of cash. That's going to be hard. Oh, that's expensive. That is 4 mules missing, 1 or 2 waves each. That is like 200 minerals you just lost there by pulling these mules off the line. Don't think that was quite necessary. Don't really think that was quite necessary. Oh, not again. It's got, oh my god, just throwing money away. This guy definitely has a money tree in the backyard. The way, or he's just really bad at financial decisions. That's actually more likely. Oh, now using a mule to repair the medevac. Very nice. Not only getting the repair cost, but also the cost of not having the mule mine. Of course, much better to have an SCV repair that. SCVs mine very little. I think an SCV mines, what, about 60 minerals per minute, while a mule mines about 200 per minute. And in the lifespan of 64 seconds, they mine 225 if you use them on a close-by patch. So it's always better in these scenarios to use an SCV. I'm also not quite sure what these turrets are doing. It's not like we're swimming in money. So as mentioned before, poor financial decisions all around. Poor financial decisions, most definitely. This is like investing in Microsoft stock because you like Skype so much. Let me tell you, that is a mistake. Oh, turret's gonna stop this hallucination. I hate it when turrets like this work out. Well, they also didn't really work out. Got trumped here by a single hallucination. Ooh. It's quite nice target fire. Nice target fire. There we go. Actually, that was quite nice. I'm happy with this move. Bug is he's growing on me. He had some stinkers in the early game. Some serious meh, you know. You look at that and you smell it. It's like, ooh, that ain't good no more. That's been in my fridge a little bit too long. When's the expiration date? And it is 2018, and right now it's 2023. That thing is well over date. There were a couple of other hints as well. That the black mold growing out of it. The fact that it started moving around by itself. But yeah, a couple of stinkers in the early game for sure. Lack of the battery. Just some general micro stuff. But that's all behind us now. Now our Protoss player is transitioning into a Robo Bay. We have how many gates? 6 gates. I like that. We have Charge. We have Blink. We still have a barracks over here. I'm not quite sure how this thing survived for so long. That's a legendary move. Also produced 2 Marines out of it. That is another legendary move. And we have a double drop being sent out. That is a move that I also like. These are, well, okay, these are legendary moves, and this is a move that I genuinely think is good. I'm not quite sure what he's going to do with these medevacs, but for now it seems like he's just going to straight up fly over the pylon, which would suck. There's already 3 stalkers in the main. What? Pfft, my man Bug over here, huh? What do you know? This guy has the game sense. The spidey senses are tingling. Look at that. Did he spot this pylon? Yeah, I spotted this pylon. Should have cleared it, I think. It's always nice to clear a pylon. That wants to go in right now. Says, hey, what do you have over here? Well, there's a battery there. And there's a Guardian Shield available, so... Well, this is a good move. This is a good move. I wouldn't mind running away right now, but the initial move was good. I still wouldn't really mind running away a little bit. Okay, we're gonna lose everything, kill very little. But that's life. I'll get a semi-evacuation over here. If you're one of the initial 12 Marines that died, sucks to be you. If you're right now on your way home in a medevac to your family, then congratulations, you've made it out alive. Look how little workers he has, though. He has 38 workers total. I'm not quite sure where they are. They're starting to long distance mine from the 3rd right now, despite having an undersaturated natural. Interesting move. And when I say interesting, I mean completely wrong. You obviously want to saturate your natural. Even going up to 20 out of 16 is better than long distance mining. Fun little fact. That's because most bases have 4 faraway patches on which technically you can stack 3 workers, increasing the income on that patch more than a long distance mining SCV would. So whenever you have 20 workers in a base, don't send it to long distance mine. Just let it 20 workers in the base. However, if you have a base with 11 out of 16 and one with 20 out of 16, then obviously switch some workers around. There's a lot of Marines in here. Colossus focusing on the only unit that doesn't take extra damage. Now starts fighting the Marines. Marines move forward. Pretty decent control, honestly, out of Starscream here. Did like how he controlled that. And also took out this push with relative ease. Immediately unsieges. But I think this army is a little bit too small. So you just gotta think, at this point in the game, we're 12 minutes in. You saw your opponent has a 3rd base. You're kind of expecting 8 gates. Yeah, there are 8 gates, exactly. So you're moving across the map with an army that consists of 8 Marines, 1 Marauder, and 3 tanks. You know your opponent still had some type of army remaining. If there's going to be just a single warp in, you'll probably lose the incoming fight already. Now, luckily for Starscream, there wasn't a single warp in of Zealots. God knows why, but it didn't happen. It's also an interesting move. As the fight starts, picking up 8 Marines into your medevac. These are some plays that I can't quite comprehend, but maybe once I become a better player, this will start hitting back. I don't quite get this. This is some interesting moves are being made here. The barracks also has a new friend. It's the Nexus. Would love to just see a Zealot being sent over there, or this army to go there as well. Yeah, both of these moves I think are good. There we go. Gonna meet each other over here once more. I think you want to run away from this fight. Yeah, it's gonna pick up. Does he have boost available? Yep, it's gonna pick up and evacuate most of its army. I freaking hate that we still have pure Marine production. The reason for that is because my man still doesn't believe in the add-on. Why he doesn't believe in the add-on, I'm not so sure. Okay, there we go. Now as 3 tech labs, like, well, the Colossus is very powerful against my Marines that aren't even being reactored out. Now gets the tag lab, so he can start some Marauder production. I'd love to see some Ghost as well at some point in the, well, really in any future, the near future or the distant future. Just in any future, I'd like to see some Ghost. You have an armory going down right now. This is all fairly late, but the game is also all out of whack. So timings, you know, within the context of the game, maybe this armory is within a reasonable time frame. I'm not even entirely sure if it is. I feel like in the context of the game, the third base just is undersaturated, and the third base also was too late, and the natural still was undersaturated. I feel like we've done a poor job building SCVs in this game. Like, how many has he lost? 9. If you lose 9 SCVs and you only have 48 by the 14-minute mark, and you're not 2-base all-inning, there usually is an issue. And that issue, I dare to say, isn't Protoss. Surely this is in range, no? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Very much so in range. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so Observer seeing everything. Turret seeing the Observer. Now that there's some vision with that medevac on top of the little cliff. But it's still there. I freaking love this. Having vision over a Terran feels so good. I'm not quite sure. Maybe the Protoss doesn't realize that it's within turret range, but it should die now. Yeah, there we go. Good stuff. Meanwhile, we have a Zealot Prism in the main base. A Viking being sent over. 2 Vikings being sent over, as well as a split of 5 Marines. Cute move. 5 Marines shouldn't be enough to deal with these 5 Zealots. But then again, Terran units sometimes are a bit stronger than I give them credit for. At the same time, the fort base is being taken out. And this is going to get cleaned up. Maybe at the price of this base. Should have blinkered forward, shouldn't he? Blank? Should have blanked in there. Also didn't actually clean those Zealots because he F2'd his entire army. So it's gonna lose the armory, drops 2 mules to try and repair. Instead, loses the armory and then the mules. So that's a beautiful example. This is the clip they should show in class when talking about the sunk cost fallacy. That was absolutely beautiful. There was no way that these 2 mules were going to repair it. I knew it, he knew it, Buck knew it, and the professor that's using this clip in his college is going to know it as well. What a rookie mistake. God. Learning new concept with StarCraft games. Love and life. Still no Ghost 162 supply in. That is surprising and also very bad. The Vikings are semi-moving separate from the main army. I think there's just a single control group and then he sometimes control clicks the Vikings. I think that's how we're maneuvering over here. So we have a big stim coming out. Storm is not available yet. That's actually kind of a big deal. As the Vikings move forward, start going to town on these Colossus. Good spread out. Although a portion of that army wasn't fighting during the spread out, really. I'm also not a huge fan of having the Marines in front. You want the Marauders in front, the main tanking unit. Now Storm finishes up and blankets the entire army. As you see Starscream kind of kiting into it. Now kiting into his opponent's Zealots as well. Maybe this Terran isn't aware that kiting usually is done away from the melee units. He's just been kiting forward into melee units. And although it looks really cool when Clem does it as he's up 85 supply against Ultralisk, it's not quite as powerful if you're even in supply against the Protoss at 4k MMR. And it might end up losing you the game. Yeah, this is much better. There we go. So you go in and then you bait the Zealots to chase you and then you run away. Some serious overstimming going on as well. I think he's stimming a little bit too quick every single time. Yes, he never runs the entire course and thus the medevacs don't have enough time to catch up. So eventually this party is going to end. It's going to end with these Marauders, well, either dead or in a medevac. Luckily for them, the medevac had some empty space. So these bad boys are going to run away. You could still kite a bit or perhaps pick it up. Or you could just leave them here to die against charge lots and blink stalkers. That is also allowed. There are no bad calls here. Well, unless you're one of the Marauders, of course. Then there are many bad calls. Serious oversaturation soon to be on this base. I'm not sure where those probes are. This doesn't feel like there are 40 probes currently, right? I don't see where they're coming from, though. Is this 40 probes? Oh, it actually is. Holy crap. I didn't see it. It doesn't look like 40 probes. Does it? Oh, it moves them away now. Mad. All right. Well, 5th base on the way here as Starscream once again is trying to establish his fort. Still on 48 workers. He's lost 9 more workers since, I think it was the 12-minute mark or so. 9 more workers lost and he's built, what, about 2 workers per minute or so. That's impressive. With 3 command centers, that is very poor. That is very poor. I think you can actually do that just in 1 minute. So what took him... what takes the average man about 1 minute, took Starscream 7 minutes. Bet his girlfriend is really happy, but it's not very good when you're playing StarCraft, my dear friend. Planetary about to finish up. We have mules mining from here as well. No extra upgrades coming in for either player. Okay, this is one of those things that doesn't not make it a mistake. Okay? People will be like, well, the Protoss also didn't upgrade. It's like, yeah, the Protoss also didn't upgrade. That doesn't mean you weren't an idiot for not upgrading, though. Like, this is literally if your friend jumps off a bridge, do you do it too? Like, this is the same thing. Like, this is a great way to get an advantage. If your opponent is making a huge blunder, like not upgrading their massive army, and you do upgrade, all fights are going to be extremely easy because you'll be up freaking 5 upgrades. If you're not doing it, however, there's no advantage to be gotten there. So a major mistake your opponent made just gets cancelled out by your own major mistake, which makes both of you idiots. Like, this is not really an argument, you know? It's like, well, he also didn't. It's like, well, yeah, freaking amazing he also didn't. Good job. You're both morons. It's unbelievable. Okay, actually, stars +3. Love to see it. Ship weapons as well. I think that's a good call. Would love to see maybe, just 1 round of Vikings, I think, here would have been perfect. Just a single round of Vikings, really. You don't want more than that right now because you don't know how many Colossi there are going to be. The one thing that you really do want are Ghost. Like, I don't understand how this is a Masters game, freaking 4K MMR, and my man doesn't build Ghost. Like, this is seriously handicapping yourself. And the sickest thing is that this happens so much, right? This actually happens so much. You're watching a game, and then you know what Terrans say? They say, well, they Ghost very difficult to control in the army. And then at the same time, what did he say? He said, when they're far behind, they just choose what they want to build. Disruptor, High Templar, War Prism drops, or Colossus to get back into the game. Okay, Disruptor, High Templar, War Prism drops, they all require separate hotkeys. And then whenever you talk to a Terran about adding Ghost, like, well, I'm kind of low level. I don't think I can actually make room for a second or a third control group. This guy uses 1 control group. The Vikings are always in the same freaking control group. They move with the main army. He's too lazy to get a second control group for the Ghost, or even to just use the tab button. Because you can also just have the Ghost in your main army, then EMP, smash, tab, and stim. That's also allowed. Okay, I'm not even necessarily bashing that approach, but I am bashing the approach of skipping Ghost because they're too hard to control, while at the same time flaming TOS players because Disruptors and Templars are too good. Like, how does your brain work? Maybe you need a bump in the head. I have a kitchen cabinet at home that could definitely help out with some brain growing if you need to. Only charging $1,500 per use case. Again, trust me, it's definitely worth it. Very much so worth it. Not only do you get an aesthetic little bump, which everyone loves, it's the one thing everyone notices. It's like a new haircut. Like, oh, you got a new haircut? Oh, you got a massive bump on your head. It's like, oh, thanks. I'm glad you noticed. It's my brain growing. Very cool. Oh, beautiful stim right into a tiny choke. That is exactly what I live for here. Disruptor shots being sent in. And I think that even got individually controlled there. Yeah, it's moving. It's moving. Once again, some serious overstimming. Walks through 2 storms. Spellcasters. Freaking good, man. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, Terra now in some serious trouble. Also attacked about 25 seconds before his +3 finished. We could call that a rookie move too. 4 more Marauders on. Another stim. Mate. This is starting to hurt, isn't it? This is seriously starting to hurt. We also haven't seen like a single... We saw 1 drop that landed and then went as a regular attack towards the 3rd base. Now starts a battlecruiser transition because they also don't require a hotkey. Well, actually, they do require a hotkey. They really do require a hotkey. Oh, here comes a big stim forward. Love to see it. Look at these Vikings. Look at these Vikings. My man complaining about the opponent having disruptors. This guy can't even use his Vikings. He's kiting so fast with the Marine Marauder. Another stim. Beautiful. Maybe 2 more? Yeah, sure. Boom. Yeah, he's dead. Absolutely dead right now. But that is perfect. You know why? This was actually part of the plan. People watch this game and they think to themselves, oh, terrible micro. But this is really smart because this frees up the main control group that he can now use for the incoming battle cruisers. He's thinking a step ahead. While you guys at home are worrying, oh no, he's gonna have BCs, he only has one control group, how's this gonna work with F2? It's not possible. This guy's already figured it out. So I just throw my entire army away for free by stimming it 17 times, then walking into storms and disruptor shots. God, maybe this guy has a bump on his head after all. He's so much smarter than I am. Yep, whoop, whoop, poof. Disruptor goes down, stormers go down as well. I'd love to see a storm being cast here. Yeah, very nice. God, I'm cheering hard for this Protoss. The beauty is that I already know that the toss is gonna win as well, because that's the concept of the is it IMBA or do I suck? So it just feels good when you're cheering for... This is like watching the highlight of your favorite team winning. It is the opposite of watching any Harstem highlight when it comes to StarCraft 2 tournament. It's like, you already know that he's gonna lose. Every now and again, though, there's this magical moment where I win a series. You always notice as well. All the comments are like, oh, didn't know Harstem sometimes won. So yeah, great jokes, guys. Doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Not at all. All right, first 2 BCs are out. Ship weapons level 1 is done. That was initially researched for the Vikings, but as a double use in case you ever make a BC transition. Truly thinking at this point. Nice storms here hitting, well, absolutely everything. This game is uber over. Maybe Terran should scan another time here to see that sea creature. See it more clearly. Maybe if I scan it twice, it will reveal itself. And give me the holy grail. Da, 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 da. It's not quite how it works. As we have a little bit of a blink in. This game has now officially ended. But the Terran's still in here. What is he doing, you may ask? Well, now that his control group is completely free, he has no other units except these battle cruisers, he can finally start using them. Yamato's the cyber core. This is actually a pretty cool play. I'm not gonna lie. So, if this was 18 battle cruisers instead of 3, and there were only 5 stalkers, this could have been a game-winning move. But because he has only 4 BCs and there's already 33 stalkers out, this is not going to be a game-winning move. Taking out the cyber core means you can't build stargates anymore, and you can't build stalkers, which are the 2 things that you probably want. You want stargates so you can transition into Tempest, and you want stalkers to stay alive until you transition into Tempest, basically. But it's fairly irrelevant because, well, first of all, there's too many stalkers already, so he can just move back with the stalkers. And also, there's so many bases he can build the cyber core at that he can just rebuild the cyber and just add like 25 more gates, which is exactly what he's doing. Bug is actually playing a good game here. Like, he's not being phased at all. This guy has multiple control groups, or at least knows how to use tap. I think he actually has a single control group and just knows how to use tap. Which this is the thing, is that my standards aren't even that high. I'm loving the Yamato usage here. Once again, it's gonna get the cyber core. 2 more cores are on the way already, though. Yeah, like, my standards aren't so high. I just want you to use your spellcasters. That's really all I want. That is seriously all that I want. The BC's now flying in. Cannon's gonna get taken out. This battle cruiser. Oh, this battery's gonna get blasted. Super battery activated. Upgrade's also better here for the stalkers than for the BCs. +3 versus just a mere +1. No armor upgrades. Actually quite bad here. Bug, if you're watching, get that second forge, buddy. I know you're capable of doing it. Just get it going. Barracks, this is the most Terran game I've seen in my life. I don't believe that Starscream believes. It is not possible, right? I know that most Terrans are fairly delusional, but this is pushing it even for a Terran player. Like, you've seen the Stalker count. You know there's a 5th base, at least. There's a 6th, but you know there's a 5th. So, I never quite understand this. All Terran players do it. Why? No one knows. Yeah, really, no one knows. Many studies have been done. Many studies have been done. Perhaps a lack of bumps on the forehead after all. Oh, there we go. Big blink to the other side. So, oh, there's a 6th. GG. Very nice. All right. Well, my dear friend, let's have a quick think over here. What went wrong in this game? Was it perhaps that Protoss was too strong? Let's just investigate those claims. So it starts. How does it start? With a quick Marauder rush into the best case scenario that I've seen in my entire life. You manage to completely butch the attack, and as a result, are, I think, behind after the early game. Then your opponent moves out, giving you a way back in with your 4 Marauder Stim squad. So you kind of get lucky there. I think the game was already over. In my mind, you've lost the game with your poor execution, despite getting a free win handed to you on a beautiful little platter. Okay? Then, second of all, I think the one attack you did with the 3 tanks, if you have a proper reinforcement setup, so proper infrastructure behind it with tech labs, reactors, and you wait 1 or 2 waves, then you go with 3 tanks, I'm pretty sure you can almost straight up win the game because you managed to defend your opponent's first push relatively well. After that, you still get very nice leads when it comes to army supply, when it comes to upgrades. You micro slightly poorly against Zealot Storm, often microing into the Zealots, often standing in storms too long. But the worst thing is that you never build Ghost. Not a single time, not a single Ghost has been built. I don't think you build a Ghost Academy. You're not even pretending like you want to use it. These are like one of these people, they say, well, I can play guitar. It's like, well, have you ever tried? It's like, no, but I can't play it. Why would I try? I know I can. It's like, well, yeah. That's kind of how things work. If you never try something, if you never practice something, you're not going to get better. If by default you never play the Ghost, you're going to suck at it. And even the first time you're going to build the Ghost, it's going to suck. But you'll notice after 3 or 4 times of using it, it's already going to be paying dividends. Hell, if you're maxed out, it's better to have Ghost than to have Marines in there. They just supply very efficient units, powerful. You don't even have to cast a freaking EMP. On top of that, you're constantly overstimming as well. Your Vikings don't shoot half the time because they're in the same control group as the rest of your army. And you made a battle cruiser transition, which is not actually a thing. If you want to get a late game air unit that is very good against TOS, please go for Liberators first. Then if it's a complete stable game, maybe go into a BC transition. But often during your BC transition, people end up dying because it's freaking expensive and it takes so darn long. So, no, my friend, Protoss isn't imbalanced. Instead, it is you who sucks. And that is what I and my bump have decided. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode of Is It IMBA or Do I Suck? If you particularly enjoyed this episode, now would be a great time to send this to all your friends. So we might get some new people in here as well. Hit that like button. Comment down below what you thought was the most egregious play and tell me how many bumps you've had on your forehead in your lifetime. I'm curious to read all of them. Thank you so much for watching and bye-bye.